All right, so I want to go over a few factoring problems. I know I didn't get a chance to address some of these, so I want to do that right now. I want to talk to you about this problem, and there's going to be a couple that I want to address. And this is, if you want to see it, you will, and if you don't, you'll press stop. But this is when I do guess and check. So I want to show you options. I first look at the 8x squared. So my options are 4x, 2x. So there's an option of 4x, 2x, but there can also be an option of 8x. X. Now I look at the 3, and I think of all the ways to get 3. Luckily, it's only 1 and 3. Okay? So I'll start over here first. I'll do the 1 and the 3. Now my goal is to get the center. So if I'm trying to get the center, this is a 1 and a 24. 24 and 1 isn't going to give me that. So I switch it. When you get really good, you start to make better guesses. So then I go 3x. 16x. 16 and 3 won't give me 2, so 8x and x is out. So now I try 3 and 1. That gives me a 2 and a 12. That won't give me 2, so I switch them. This now gives me a 6 and a 4. 6 minus 4 will give me 2. Since this guy's negative, the bigger guy's negative, that's positive. Since this gave me the negative 6, this gets the negative, this gets the positive. So that's negative 6 and positive 4. This is my answer. Okay? I want to talk about a different one. What if I gave you 16x cubed minus 20x squared plus 4x? I think most of you will see that they all have an x. 4, x, negative 4, 5, x, 4 times 1, x. 4, 4, 4, x, 4x whoosh. Then I'm left with 4x squared minus 5x plus 1. So I write that down. But the problem is I have an x squared. So I may be done, but I may not be done. So what I have to do now is look at this and pretend that that's not even there. Now this problem is just like this one. So I do my guess and check. 4x, x, or 2x, 2x. And I look at the last number, 1. Luckily, it's 1 and 1. So I don't have any switching to do. 1, 1, 1, 1. This gives me a 2, and this gives me a 2, but I'm trying to get 5. So that's out. 1, 4. To get a 5, they both have to be negative. So that's negative. So then I have 4x minus 1, x minus 1. But I have this 4x. I have to bring that down as part of my answer. Okay? Now, if this problem, instead of saying 16x cubed minus 20x squared plus 4x, instead said 8x, you would still do the same, take out a 4x, and then be left with 4x squared minus 5x plus 2. Then you would try to make this work. 4x and x. 2x and 2x. And nothing would work. So in this case, you would be done. But you don't know until you try it. Okay, let me do one more. If I gave you 48 minus 3x squared. It's not as obvious, but they have something the same. So I can actually take out a 3. And if you're not sure, take this number and divide it by that in your calculator. 3 times 16, 3 times 1, x, 3, whoosh, 16 minus x squared. So you feel like you would be done. But the problem is, you can square root. And since the 16 comes first, the 4 comes first. Since the x comes second, the x comes second. 1's minus, 1's plus. Bring down the 3. Okay? I think that covers some of what the issues could be if it was a factoring problem. Let me actually do one more. Let's go 6x squared y cubed minus 4x y to the 4th. They both have x's and y. Do your box. 2 times 3, x, y, y, y. Negative 2 times 2, x, y, 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 y. Writing stuff out really helps out. X, y, 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 y. Get all the y's that are the same. So I'm left with 2x, 1, 2, 3, y cubed. I didn't circle the 3 and the x. I didn't circle the negative, the 2, and the y. 2xy cubed, 3x minus 2y. Okay? Now I want to show you something. You can check it. If you decide to check this in your calculator, what you're going to do is you're going to take the question and set it equal to the answer. But your calculator wants you to go 3 times 4 minus x times 4 plus x. So make sure you do that in the calculator. Okay? And you need to make sure you store a value for x first. So store a value 3, 2, just don't make it a 1. So if you're going to do this problem, I don't know if the calculator is going to like you or not, but take the problem, set it equal to the answer. Okay? You might have to do little multiplies in between. The calculator might like you better. But this time you have to store a value. So 2 store as x, and let's say 3 store as y. You want to make them different values, it might mess you up. You might have to go 2 times x times this, times 3 times, I don't know exactly what they're going to do here. Okay? But even if you put a bunch of multiplies, that's your way to check. Same thing here. Take the question, set it equal to the answer. But the problem is, if you stopped here, it's going to tell you you're right when you were actually supposed to keep going. So it can't tell you if you're supposed to keep going or not.